start muting people, all right, first of all, we are all officers in here for the most part, all right? We're not 10. We're not going tit for tat. All right? Just because one person does something wrong, and in this case, fine, you can say I did something wrong. All right? But we're not going to go and start doing this. Hold on, Mike. And start muting people who aren't in, because it was affecting other people in the party's gameplay. Like, it was pissing people off who had nothing to do with any of that.
Which part? Which one are we talking about right now? The muting.
You interrupted Etherless's game, and he got muted. It interrupted Lorami.
I didn't do any of it.
For what?
Well, you can't say that because you did. Regardless if you meant to or not, all right? And I apologize if you truly were trying to get into the channel and you just muted them, all right? But, like, if you're on Discord, you can say you should have messaged me, but you could also message me. All right, so this is also a two-way street.
Message you about what?
Well, you're asking me to message you about, like, hey, why did you do that, or why didn't you message me first? Why didn't you message me saying, hey, I was just trying to get on?
I didn't know I did anything.
Well, you muted and deafened somebody on accident, maybe, but you did, and it had
then
to be
how
the
am I
person that
supposed
we
to
had
mute?
beef with.
How am I supposed to message you if I didn't know I did it?
Well,
You're right now. You are trying to pass the buck. That's what it sounds like.
No, I'm not.
That is what you're doing.
Oh, okay.
I will say this though, for what it was worth, like the person that was most pissed during that day was Aquaman. Like Aquaman, all of his messages were getting deleted. I don't know if you guys remember that, but that wasn't Carrier Sif. That was X-Tag.
Yeah, but they talked about that like 10 minutes later. It was
okay,
funny
but it did get squashed. Yes, you are correct. Yes, it did get squashed.
But I still think it's definitely Sif who, it's obvious that Carrie has like the thing with Uncle.
Have I ever abused my power and kicked him out of this Discord? Have I ever banned him? Have I ever done any of that?
Yeah, no, she hasn't. And if she ever used her powers on anyone, it's pretty much like just Uncle. Like she's never really done.
I've never used
like
my
a
powers
huge
on
muting
Uncle.
spree or moving spree. And it's like we've also had problems in the past of like officers getting moved around by people.
Yeah,
there's been plenty of other days. That's always just been a thing that puts people in bad moods like instantly.
And I have never kicked him out of this guild. I have never kicked him out of the Discord. I have never done anything to him other than remove myself from his area. And the people I'm trying to have in chat with me. I use the powers that I have.
But yeah, like I'd agree with Carrie. She brings up a good case with like her one like command, whether it was her or not. It was just that her one thing, accident or not, comparing it to Sif's like mass moving, mass muting.
That's fine. Well, yeah, like I just want you to understand that this was never malicious on an attack at you or anything. All right, we have audit logs and we can see. Hold on, we can see who mutes and deafens people. All right, and when Uncle keeps saying, "Hey, I'm getting muted," we can see who does it, and we can still go back and see that it was done under your account, whether it was done accidental or not. We don't know. We do not know it was accidental. All right. And so the only thing we could assume to keep him from being mute and deafened, all right, is to make it so you can't momentarily. And then after you did that, after that was done, Sif did it a lot. And the only thing we could do.
Your power. That's actually what I feel like right now.
Look, are you going to try and make peace with this situation? Or are you going to keep doing this?
Do what? Everyone else has made peace. You just came in here and accused me of something. And then keep passing the buck.
I'm not accusing you of anything.
Also
I'm telling you what I did, and I'm telling you how I saw and know that it was your account that did it.
Does it matter? Does it really
because I'm
matter?
telling you what
I'm telling you, you have fucking trolled the shit out of this community. And I'm supposed to, you're putting here passing the buck. I feel like you are passing a buck.
I came here to confront you about the issue and make peace with you, and you're not listening.
I am listening. And I'm telling you that There are many more issues that you can confront on, and you are sitting on this one happened once.
I'm going person to person with people I have beef with. The first thing I did when I came in here is talk to Vale and make sure we were on good terms.
Me and you ain't got beef, dude. Like, ultimately, like, me and you have discussed things, and I feel like you're internally, like, it's you and like Carrie right now. Me and you are good. So, like, I feel like everything else can be discussed at a later time concerning us if it comes to, if it ever comes to another head, you know, like that.
I feel like right now, you're bringing up one thing, and I'm trying to, and if I bring up anything you're doing, you tell me it doesn't matter. But now you're telling me something that I did matters. So,
do you have
what
an
do you
example?
mean? Choo-choo, motherfucker, and you lust? You encourage the meme squad? I've told you what my problem was.
All right. Well, I've told
and
you,
you
and I apologize
it.
for the lust.
Okay, you ignored my problem with Uncle. You ignored it.
How did I ignore it?
I'll be back.
What did I tell you my problem was? Do you even remember?
You said he was toxic to the community.
Uh-huh. And so why is it when I boot him out that it's a problem?
No, it wasn't a problem that you booted him out. It was only thing. In matter of fact, I pulled you up a channel and we talked about it and it was fine.
You're not acting like it was.
No, I don't care. If you have a legitimate reason, and on top of that, we've talked about it more since then. The only thing at the time was without I had no understanding of what happened. But simply I pulled you up a channel. I confronted you then and there, and I accepted your decision. I didn't try to reverse it, tell you to change your mind. I didn't do nothing. I just simply, the guy who all I can see at that exact moment in time is the guy who is saying, why am I getting kicked, who had no reason why he was getting kicked. All right. And I wanted to know why. I wanted to be like, see, why are we kicking this guy? That's all I wanted to know. All right. And you explained it. And I said, okay. And we got past that.
I'm gonna cut it. But with the way Uncle, like, the thing between Uncle and Carrie, it seemed pretty obvious how Uncle acts when we were talking with Puff in the chat and like all of his stuff.
Oh yeah, today he was absolutely the most toxic person I've ever seen in chat today.
So like, here's my follow-up question: does that almost seem like it justifies almost any action that Carrie takes against Uncle? Like all of the silences are justified. Declining him an invite to the group is justified.
Well, I think it's specifically talking about the issue the other day when she did it. My only beef or quarrel with the situation was that she wasn't in here when it happened. Like, she was not in the Discord. Like, if she had been in the Discord and he had said something to offend her, she could have banned the dude for all I care.
But yeah, like, see, that just seems like suspicious, like, enough. Like, I probably just wouldn't even worry about it even. Because it's like she's clearly saying that it was some sort of problem, like, with her phone and stuff, so.
But we don't know.
That seems justifiable to me.
All I would have asked is if you had, like, if when you got put to VM veteran and you saw it and you were probably like, yo, what the fuck? Like, if you'd have asked and said, like, hey, what happened? And we'd have said something and you said, hey, phone, we'd have been like, oh, sorry about that, and then give it right back to you.
I asked Puff instead.
Well,
because I didn't know who did it.
Well, in Discord, we flat out were open about who did it. Everyone who was in here, which was Revoc and the Rami at the time, I actually came to Revoc and told him what I had done on purpose because I didn't want to make an action like that by myself. It was a consensus thing to do that to you and Sif between the Rami and myself.
But you're doing this because you have the power to do it.
Instead
of coming and talking to us as officers.
There is no talking when you're not online.
How is there muting then?
Look, you can your phone. I can still show you how you muted him. Or not necessarily how, but I can show you where, and you weren't online. What are you talking about?
You keep saying I wasn't online, and then you say I'm online.
Not in voice chat is what I'm trying to say to you. You weren't here. You didn't make a message, not in general chat, not a private message, no voice. Therefore, to me, you're not here. We didn't do anything to you in the guild. It was just Discord. It was really a non-issue. We honestly did not think anything about it when it happened. We were just like, maybe they're trolling. We don't know. We'll talk to them later when they get on. That's honestly what we thought and what we said.
I really think you're missing my point.
Well, then make it.
I already have, and you have missed it.
Oh, I apologize then.
I think maybe...
I'm trying to figure out the ground here as well.
Okay, maybe I'm not trying to overstep my bounds here, but maybe this might be a conversation to reconvene, like, I don't know, the time. I'm trying to find a positive light in how we can handle this. Like, that's pretty much what I'm trying to do, because it seems like there's still some bitterness. I get what you're trying to do, Runalas. I know that you're trying to address the issue. I get what you're trying to get at, Carrie. Like, you're trying to make sure that your point is being heard, and I get that you feel like he's not accepting it, or he's missing your point entirely. So maybe just for sake of it, like, maybe reconvene, like, with other officers in place or other officers talking. I don't know. I'm just trying to help you guys find a positive end to this. That's all I'm trying to do.
I am here. Like, if any time, like, look, Care, I am perfectly, like, I like you. Like, you're a great person. You're good for the guild. Like, none of this is malicious intent towards you at all. And it's unfortunate that this is happening with us right now. So I hope in the future that we can move past it. I'm sorry that at the time you feel this way. All right. Maybe, maybe we can resolve it some other way, but there was never any intention for neither you or Sif to, for it to come to this conclusion. And that's simply all I wanted to say. And I wanted to make sure we were on an understanding. If we can't reach it, it's fine, because probably in the future we will. But
I guess, well, the way because like when I was there, when like you were trying to still figure out what you were going to do, and like you were talking with Lorami, the one that looks more malicious is Sif. Like, the way you've been almost sounding, Runalas, is that Carrie was being just as malicious as
you bring up a good point, man. Sif definitely took it way further than she did.
Yeah, but, and like, even if it was just Uncle, I mean, like, she's had problems with Uncle before, so it's like, well, I mean, that's just Carrie and Uncle right there. But then Sif was going along targeting everybody possible. So I honestly, like, almost could easily forget that Carrie had used her powers on Uncle. Like, just because that's what the audits say. I'm not saying that, like, she's already been saying it a bunch of times that she was just trying to get the Discord on her phone and stuff like that. So,
no,
like,
it's honestly, and you know what? Maybe it was rash or at the time. Maybe it was too quick. All right, but in the grand, it probably would have been not much. We could have fixed it right then and there. Probably wouldn't even would have decided, maybe, hey, that's a bad move. What really made the decision stick for so long was the fact that right afterwards, Sif did it probably 10 times more, and it makes it look, kind of worse. But I'm not saying what I did wasn't necessarily wrong, but I'm just trying to tell you why I did it.
I have a bigger problem with the fact that you did not confront me as an officer.
You haven't been on.
You could have messaged me, but instead you took it into your
I have been on this Discord almost every hour of the past 2 days. Neither you nor Steph have been on. I'm not having
I have two been on. And you could easily have messaged me and asked me something. Instead, you took it into your own hand. How is it a two-way street, Runalas?
Because
Tell me
you're
how
saying
it is a two-way street.
it's not a need to yell. I'm telling you, because as long as if you're saying you've been on, then you could have just as easily got on and talked to us. All right, sorry. I don't think she was.
So
But,
I mean, like, you, and then she like she tried to explain herself like with her Discord and her phone, but then it just goes back full circle, and then
it may have been the case.
accusation, defense.
Okay, so let me say my part. All this is pretty much screaming is just a matter of miscommunication, and both parties should have just messaged one or the other. We can chalk it up to that. Right now, what we need to do is just put this under the bridge. Carrie, I understand you're frustrated. I completely understand.
She
left.
Spoon, were you listening in when I said that?
Figure out what the fuck's going on.
Pretty much since you're here, I know Carrie's right next to you. Pretty much both sides, just miscommunication. Let's just try to put water on the bridge. No malicious attempts were trying to happen or anything. If it felt that way, it's understandable because there wasn't really much communication going on. Communication should have been happened. First thing that should have happened, communication should have been done. Both parties have to acknowledge that communication should have been done. If they do, that's understandable. Let's just try to move forward, create a nice, peaceful environment, just try to move past like all the problems that have been happening. Because that's the only way that this is going to be able to be resolved, and just move forward is just if we can just learn to be able to forgive and be able to just move on.
Hey, I'm there. I ain't mad at anybody. I was actually coming in here to try and make sure that there was no harsh feelings.
Yeah.
We
We understand.
I'm just trying to figure out why every time like Carrie goes anywhere to try to fix things and try to figure out what's going on and make things better, she ends up feeling attacked at the end of every time she goes in just to talk about things. Like, and then people get mad because her and Sif don't come in to talk about things, but then every time they try to, they end up like leaving rooms because they're feeling attacked by at least one person, if not more. Like, that needs to be fixed, and it's not gonna get better till it gets fixed.
I know, and unfortunately, that's human nature. Well, it's human. It's human nature. It's human nature. It's human nature.
I feel you.
Well, the way Brunalas has been, the way he's really been talking about is that Brunalas, I honestly, in my opinion, you sounded like you were accusing Carrie for doing like a serious crime as Sif was.
I don't
like
think
if it was just like her, like just looking at it, comparing it like her one command to Sif, it should just be like, well, if it was an accident, then all right. I would probably just leave it at that. Hers was definitely an accident, because if it was malicious, she would have kept on doing something about it. Compared to Sif, he kept on doing stuff over and over again.
Right, and I totally see where you're coming from. And I'm not even saying I don't really disagree with you. It is a great chance that it was completely misunderstanding and accident. And that's actually all I wanted to do was try and explain to her what I saw and why I did what I did. And what I'm seeing right now is that she's just not going to accept that answer.
Right. So
what is it that Sif and Carrie did that made everybody so mad?
All right. So anyone who's an officer or family member, we can see audit logs, right? We can, every time you mute somebody, deafen somebody, move somebody, change the nickname, it shows up in these logs, right? So one day we're sitting in a party, neither Sith nor Carrie are online. and we're just talking, like Laramie's pugging, I'm playing PUBG, whatever. Etherless is, being Etherless. I forgot what he's doing.
Yeah.
And Uncle was in there. And well, suddenly Uncle starts typing in chat like, hey, I'm fucking muted. Like, he's like, hey, and we look, and yeah, if somebody has been muted, if they mute themselves or if they have been server muted, as in like when I right click on your name, when I have that power, there's a checkbox that says server mute, which means that somebody that was an officer or had that power definitely clicked that box. There is no mistake. Somebody clicked that box on purpose. And I mean, and it's possible it's a misclick, but I got to admit it's very hard to do. And so
there's no way y'all people in here.
Hold on.
Hold up. So.
We're teammates.
And so when I check the logs, because it had, it's happening, and I look at him, I can see it says Care Bear muted/deafened Uncle. We can see that. And so we are, in my mind, I already know they've got beef. All right. And so what I'm seeing is someone just muting somebody simply because they don't like him, and they're not even in the Discord referring to Carrie. That's all I see. And if it's going to keep happening, it's not like I was demoting her in WoW or in permanently. All I did is momentarily make her a VM veteran so she couldn't mute him. Not even 10 minutes later, Sif does it, and he takes it to a whole new level. Etherless is right. She definitely did not do it to the level he did. But, I'm not looking at it from a like, oh, she only did it once perspective. I'm looking at it at a, like, yo, just because they got beat, not even on kind of thing. And I did it. Whether that, you agree with the decision or not, is not what I came in here to do. I came in here to explain why I did it, and that's exactly why I did it. And I told Puff, I told Vale, like right then and there, and I told Laramie right then and there. I didn't make the decision alone. It was consensus. And then when I did it to both of them, I text Puff. I told them exactly what I did and why I did it. And there's audit logs. We can see exactly how many times they did it and what they did, and that's all that happened. And I would have, and the part about communication was she's saying, you could have told me or something. She's exactly right. Maybe I should have messaged her or did something. But it's an unfair argument to make when she could have also done the exact same thing to any of us. They haven't been on for 2 days. And so maybe that's both of our faults. It could very well be. But it's not a good argument to make towards me that I didn't contact her when you could also, when she and Sif didn't get on for 2 days. I've spoke my piece. That's pretty much the whole story. And I have no problem with Carrie or Sif, by the way. I'm actually very upset that Sif got in here today, so upset, because I think he's a very good guy. And so is Carrie. It's very disheartening that they're so upset, and I wish it wasn't like that.
I can tell you why they're so disheartened and upset.
Oh.
I mean, they haven't told me, but I can tell you from my perspective why they feel so, like, wronged.
Well,
but nobody really wants to hear it at this point anymore. Everybody just wants everything to just be done. But
has any of this been constructive outside of our conversation early this morning?
I finally know more shit than I've known this whole fucking time. I finally actually got people to like tell me what the hell was going on and pieced enough stuff together from everybody.
But I mean, it's like, let's just, I mean, I could see why Sif and Carrie kind of still act the way they were. Like, if we put it all like a scoreboard of just,
but it's not. We're officers. There is no scoreboard.
I mean, like,
we're grown
It's
men
a scoreboard when the other officers are protecting the people doing things to people.
Like,
that's how they're looking at it, and that's the problem. Every time they tried to do something, they got in trouble with other officers for trying to do something. So then they trolled back, and then they got in trouble for it. That's why they're unhappy.
Like Runelost does his lust. If like Sif was trying to retaliate, and then Runelost stops that again. So that puts like, I could see how they could react the way they did.
Like, you can only tell somebody to take it up the ass so many times, not anymore.
And I will say this, like after that raid and after that,